Hello students, we are taking the first part of the economics, Indian economic, and after completing the Indian economy, we will resume our second part of macroeconomy. In the Indian economy, we are taking the Indian economy before the eve of independence. Before independence, in August 1947, Indian economy was one of the worst economy in the world because of the imperialism and colonialism. Britishes take the control of the India in 1600, and from 1600 they comes to establish their rule in 1757, and after 1577 to 1947 they ruled India under the heading of East India Company and British, and for this 200 and plus years they exploited the Indian economy for their interest. Their prime interest was to support the British economy. One Viceroy of India, Victor Alexander, wrote in his diary, I quote, "India is the pivot of the empire. If the empire lose any part of its domination, we can survive. But if we lose India, the sun of our empire will set." See, Viceroy quotes that if India lose any part of its domination, the British and the British Empire can survive. But if Britishes loses the India, their sun will set. It means the India was the prime area of their income. They have adopted various policies from 1757 and 1764 onwards to exploit the India in such a way that they can benefit the British. And from last 300 years before 1947, they have their methods, but here we will read what was the Indian economic condition just before 1947. India before independence was a 2% growth in national income and about 0.5% growth in the per capita income. The agriculture was the basic or the main occupation of the India, and almost 85% of the Indian population was engaged in directly or indirectly in agriculture. India was well known for its handicraft, diamond and metal works, cotton and textile works, and he has an international reputation for this skill art. And it was the main area of the export and import. The economic policies pursued by the British government was for the concern of the British economy. They promoted and protected the Indian economy for the interest of the British economy. The development of the Indian economy was very slow. Obviously, the government never made any sincere effort to develop the Indian economy or the Indian's national income. Few notable persons before independence of India: Dadabhai Naoroji, V.K.R.V. Rao. These dignitaries made some researches, and by this research Dadabhai Naoroji quotes that a prisoner in the British Empire, British state, was in better condition than the common man. He says that the prisoner is at least able to get the meal for 2 times. But the common man in the village was not insured for the 2 times meal. V.K.R.V. Rao also noted that the growth of Indian economy was almost stopped. About 1 to 2% national income was growing and per capita income was growing by less than 0.5% or near about 0.5%. The reason for this backwardness or the Indian economic conditions before independence, we will read by different headings. The first is agriculture sector. The agriculture sector suffers the maximum loss or maximum drawback. The reason behind that was it was the prime or the main occupation of the Indian economy. Majority of the population was directly dependent on the agriculture and its product. 85% of the Indian population was totally engaged in the agriculture, directly or indirectly. It was the main occupation for the livelihood of the common man. The agriculture sector has low productivity and low production. The reason was that agriculture productivity was very low because the Britishers has never made any reform in the land. The land settlement was in such a way that there was a zamindari system of land. The land belongs to the zamindars and zamindars was not interested in the land reform. Other than this, in the Bengal provinces, the land was given to the zamindar and they were asked to deposit the revenue, land revenue at a certain particular date. The zamindars asked the farmers to take this land on partition, sharing or sometime by the forced labor. And they collect the revenue from the farmers very cruelly and very forcefully. Therefore, the agriculture was falling with a year by year. The zamindars, instead of making any improvement in the agriculture, they considered the land for the source of income. They collect maximum rent revenue from the land and give less to the Britishers. The revenue system was also different in area by area. The British Empire in the India was divided into 3 provinces: Madras province, Calcutta province and Bombay province. And in all these 3 provinces, the revenue system and the zamindari system was different. A fixed percentage of the product was fixed as a rent. Somewhere a fixed amount of rupees was fixed for the rent and it was collected by the zamindars and further it was given to the Britishers. Despite of some progress in the irrigation, India's agriculture was starved by the investment in threshing. There was no flood control, there was no irrigation facility, there was no crop pattern also in the Indian agriculture system before independence. measure of the area of the land remains uncultivated under the Jamidari systems. The agriculture was not a profitable business either for the Jamidars and for the farmers. The forced commercialization of the agriculture was also found. The Britishers needs some cash crops for their industries. So they forced the Indian farmers to cultivate indigo, cotton, tea, coffee and other cash crops. Sugar cane also. This forcible labor या forcible agriculture makes the Indian agriculture worst. The Indian farmers who cultivate the cash crops sells their cash crops to the Britishers or British merchants at the low price, and instead of that they have to purchase the Indian cereals for their survival at high price. This commercialization makes a demerit or a hurt in the Indian agriculture system. The famines occurs in the pre-independence era of India, which also make a big blow on the Indian agriculture system. The